Hello, thank you for joining me and welcome to Write On, a video series about writing. I'm Quinne Darkover, your host and the author of the steampunk series The Captain and the Lady Fair, with Book 3 in progress. I've also published a cookbook, To Serve Man. I have links below for my books on Amazon, and there is a link to my double-sided book, both books in one. Kind of an old doll thing. Today's topic, show versus tell and action tags, visual words, talking heads, editing. One of the first things a new writer hears is show, don't tell. Okay, thanks for that tip. Too bad they didn't explain it. It's pretty simple and not a dark mystery. Bill felt sad about Rex. That's a tell. I told you that Bill felt sad. Bill's head lowered, his eyes glazed and unfocused. They watered until they overflowed into tears that slid down his cheeks to drop onto the pavement next to the still form of Rex. That's it. It's simple. Don't tell me feelings, show them to me. Why? Because it adds to the character as a visual, and that has greater impact. The other reason may be POV. If using third limited, no head hopping, then we would not know he is sad, unless we were inside of him. So it needs to be shown. This relates to action tags. Action tags take the place of dialogue tags. A dialogue tag is using said to indicate who is speaking. He, she said, Bill, Jane said. The idea is that said is an invisible word, a word that a reader doesn't see because it is used so much the mind blanks it out. When I read, it hits me between the eyeballs. Boom. It seems like a wasted opportunity to add to the scene or the character. Plus, the problem for me is that when speaking with people in life, they don't stand still like mannequins. Let's take a look at doing the different ways of said versus action tags. Bill joined Sally at the outdoor table. Hi, Bill said. Hi back, Sally replied. It's been a long time, she said. Months, he said. Have you been well, she asked. As well as can be expected, Bill replied. Great images come to mind, right? Nope. Let's try that again. Bill joins Sally at the outdoor table. Hi, Bill nodded to her and waved to the garçon. Hi back. Her eyes lingered on his lips and then looked into his eyes. It's been a long time. Her hand slid towards his, resting on the table. Months. He took hers and gently gave it a squeeze. Have you been well? The light gust of a breeze carried the aroma of jasmine and blew a lock of her blonde hair to hide her eyes. As well as can be expected, his free hand brushed the hair aside and caressed her cheek. Bit of a difference. Garçon tells us it's France and that it's a cafe, not a backyard table. The reaching out and touching says the relationship was very close, not cold or strained. We even got to know she's blonde. Other elements can be used. You can use an icy breeze for winter and replace jasmine with smells from the kitchen. It all builds this scene and the characters. Note that the dialogue changed from comma close quote to a period close quote, because an action tag is not a continuation of the dialogue, but a separate sentence. Yes, I know not every line needs a tag, but I did it for this short example. An action tag can go before or after the dialogue, or even in the middle, depending on the action sequence. That brings us to talking heads. In the first sample of dialogue, we have talking heads. Dialogue that drones on and we assume the characters are statues. In the second example, we add movement. People do not stand still when they talk. Their eyes roam, their feet shuffle, move weight side to side, lean on things, gesture with their hands, and a lot more. And that's part of the people watching. Just like dialogue tags, not every line of dialogue needs an action tag, but you can. and it does not jar like said does. Convey action and visuals in the characters, and they come more alive. If a writer wants to use only saids and saidisms, asked, replied, queried, etc., then adding some action as a narrative will cure the talking heads. Now, that relates to visuals. Greater visual relates to visual words. Those are words that create an instant image. The flowers were in full bloom, and the contrasting colors were festive. Yeah, it's great. Pardon me, I'm going to hack this part. The Rosa glauca against the Campanula rotundifolia made a festive contrast of color. What? The red roses against the bluebells made a festive contrast of color. Got it. Just saying flowers is a bit plain with no real visual. Too technical, even if you know the formal names, it leaves a lot to be desired. Common names give the visual to convey to the reader. Visual words are words that give an instant image in the mind. When writing, we may see the roses and bluebells in our mind, but we have to transfer that image to paper so the reader can see it. We are painting pictures with words. Don't skimp on the paint. Okay, so what is part of this babble about? Some writers love the $50 words, and sometimes they do have a place. But writers need to keep in mind the target audience of their writing. If they want to appeal to brainiacs, and I have nothing against them, then use the big words. If a writer wants to write something an average reader can get a mental picture from and feel the read is smooth without having to remember whatever 101, then they should use the more common words. I have talked with a few writers that have said, I'm not going to dummy down my work. People should be educated. If education is the point, then perhaps they should look at a career as a teacher. I'm not saying it should be as simple as see, spot, run. But if the goal is to give a reader a good read, then think about the choice of image words. Editing. Few writers love editing, but we have to do edits to our work. Yes, we send it to paid editors to triple check and nitpick what we've done, but we need to do as much as we can. I have a few tricks that I use that I haven't seen anywhere else, and they work for me. The entire time I edit, I'm watching for adverbs, wrong word choice, spelling, repeat words that snuck in while my fingers did their own thing. First, I tend to edit as I go. It's a no-no, but I do it. I let my fingers run wild to get the story down, and when I come up for air, or coffee, I look back over what I've just written and fix gross errors that catch my eye. I slow down on the next pass and look at each line to see if I could have written it better. I go back to writing, as I don't want to get bogged down in editing until it's finished. Second, the book is finished. I start at page 1 and read through the chapters. For chapters, I'm looking for structure and flow. With each character, big or small, I ask myself, what happened to this character? I'm asking myself to make sure that when I put in a character, I wrapped up what they were doing either then or later. Does this chapter make sense? Does it progress the story or the characters? Third, I look at each sentence within that chapter. Is it good, bad, needed? Can it be combined with another? Should it be split into 2 sentences? Are there better word choices? Did I describe the character the way I really want? Is the punctuation correct? Fourth, grab your hat on this one. I print the entire book, single-sided, 1.5 space. When done printing, add a blank page on the top. Punch holes on the right. Put it in the notebook, and the text will be face down on the right. You see a blank page, which is the back of the last page. Now you go through it 1 page at a time. Yep, I go through it backwards. This avoids me getting hung up in the story and lets me separate myself a bit to actually see the sentences and structures for what they are. Single-sided? Small corrections, like change of word, punctuation, I can put that on the printed page. Large stuff, adds of dialogue or narrative or odd notes to move pieces, I put on the facing blank page. Then I can go page by page through the notebook, making notes on the blank side, which is on the right since I'm right-handed, then make the changes in the computer. Lefties punch the holes on the other side. Okay, explaining it doesn't work too well. Oh no, I lost my arm. It's back. We have a blank page because we inserted one. Now bear in mind, I am right-handed. This is the last page, page 13 for what I printed. The text is on this side. I can put notes for word change, spelling, punctuation. Everything else, narrative, dialogue, whatever, goes over here. I'm right-handed, so it's convenient to have a blank page on the right. And you just keep going. And each page gets closer and closer to the front of the book. Now lefties, oh dear, I lost my tab. We're not to lefties yet. Yes, we are. All right, lefties, when they put their book in, that's the last page of the previous one. This is an inserted blank page, so I have a right page to write on. And then lefties will punch the hole on the left side. I'll put this up here so you can see it. All right, we put it in here. And when we open it up, because the holes are on the right, the first page is the last page. We can do editing over here for change of words, punctuation. Extra dialogue, narrative, whatever, can go on the blank page. I'm right-handed, that's why I want it on the right. Lefties, we'll put it in the punch on the right. There we go. The lefties will punch it on the left. Righties punch on the right. There's the last page, and for the lefty, the blank page. Now, I have to do a swan dive for the mouse. Fifth, let it sit. Ignore it for at least 4 to 6 weeks. No peeking. Print it out with a different font and a larger size. Stand up, then read it completely through, out loud with a cup of coffee. Why? The brain has gotten used to sitting and working on the computer with a particular font and size. The greater the change, the more the brain lets go of the preconceived idea as to what it will be seeing. It'll be like seeing the work for the first time, and you'll catch a few more errors. At that point, I've done all I can. Time to send it off to an editor. If you do all the edits you can, the work for your editor is less. If you use the same editor on your next book, they may cut you a break because they have less to do. We can always hope. If you have any suggestions for topics, please post a comment below. Also, if you press subscribe, you'll receive email telling you when a new video is posted. Press like if my videos have been helpful. Until next time, write on.